just have to look like you're really getting into it, like you're really mauling someone. Just kind of, you know, swing, shimmy back and forth, like wiggle your ass around.
Really?
It's like as tall as I am. How am I supposed to just like shimmy it?
It sounds like you don't have enough heart in your axe right now.
I think you need to go break some rocks with an axe.
Really hone your warrior spirit.
Are you gonna like train me in how to make it possible to break that rock?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, easily. Now go do a bunch of fetch quests for me until you get angry enough to do it great.
Yeah, you aren't wrong there. Just like finding water.
But that's our specialty, right? That's our big brain move, where we have no brain and no judgment, so we can't impair it.
Ah. When you think about it.
I don't. I just explained this.
I'm curious. I was thinking about
pot stickers?
I mean, yeah, but...
Well, let me solve that mystery for you right now. I just took a bite into it. It's mostly bread. That's why it's so thick. The tiniest bit of the actual insides, and then the amount of bread around the outside is real. It's real. But I could take a ruler to this and
They're
just...
like, oh, did you say pot stick? I'm sorry. Did you mean half of a meat donut?
You have 3 meat donuts here. They're just cut in half and served you in a quantity of 6.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why they had it in 6s.
I guess we should explain that when we're at the place getting these pot stickers. The menu said they were called pot sticks.
Yeah.
And we made the joke that the person putting the name on the menu was eating them during the time and had a heart attack because of that.
Dude, because they're chonking. We got like...
They are massive.
We got the fried ones and we got pot stickers,
Uh-huh.
which they, for some reason, had them listed like they were completely separate items. They wrote down fried gyoza and then pot sticks. They're totally different things, and really they're just cooked like marginally differently.
Oh, can I get me some pot sticks, please?
Dude, yeah, some guy came up, he was like, hey, could I give me some pot sticks? And they were like, actually, they're called pot stickers. And he was like, no, they're not.
I read the menu. You're lying.
Just,
You're
like,
lying.
they have to change the menu on the spot. They're just like, oh, frick. He's right, they're pot sticks.
Like you open up the menu, it says pot stickers, and you're like, no, they're not. And then you see the words change like in the Harry Potter movies. And they just...
The pot stick man, he wreaks devastation everywhere he goes.
Can't touch Panda though. It's a chain restaurant, so he stays away from them.
No, he's been working on them one at a time. Traveling all across the world to every single Panda Express. Like, pot sticks.
And then their pot stickers change. Okay. Yes, fortune cookie. Reveal to me the secrets within. Consolidate rather than expand business projects in the near future. Fuck.
Alright,
I want to
let's turn
expand
all
so
of our
much.
videos into one big video. Let's consolidate them all together.
What, you said playlist? Here's your playlist.
Except it's not like all of them end to end. It's like if you shuffled them like a deck of cards, so it's like one frame from each video, one after the other.
That is a horror. You know, you ever think about how the cops go up to, you know, a drug addict and is like, listen, you gotta stop this drug. And he's like, no, I'm sticking to pot. And then he turns into a food.
Yeah, I think about that a lot.
Like Animorph style turns into a pot sticker. I'm sticking to pot. The cop's like, I didn't sign up for this.
The new cop's like, oh no, What's happening? He's turning into like half of a meat bagel.
Not the meat donut.
Starts like puking on the ground. The older cop's like patting him on the back. He's like, "That's right, son. Remember not to end up like this, or your meat bagel will never be whole."
The older cop's seen it so many times. He's like, "Oh, listen, I know it's always rough on your first time, but you get used to it."
Dude, wait till you see the cocaine addicts. They turn into egg rolls. Dude, I love that idea. Everyone's like, oh, the government's like hiding secrets from us, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not aliens. They're just actually hiding the fact that people turn into pot stickers if they do too much drugs.
You gotta crack down on drugs. Not because...
Not because people are turning into pot stickers. That'd be ridiculous.
Why would you even think that? Stop thinking that. You're weird.
Yeah, idiot.
Crazy person. Anyhow.
Anyway.
Did somebody say
here's this picture of a UFO we took. It's real.
By the way, here's a real alien who's here to probe your asshole. One at a time. Come on up.
I love the idea of like, someone's like, man, how do I get more people to vote for me again? What if we gave everyone like a free alien specifically to probe their asshole? They're just like, it's genius! Just slams the table. He's like, Frank! Turns to one of his board members, they like pull off their mask, they're an alien. I know you've been waiting to probe the people's ass for a long time now. Now's your chance.
Now the time has come, Frank. It's time for you to get out there and do what you do best.
He's like, I've been waiting for an occasion just like this one. Pulls out like a anal probe with a freaking American flag on it from his pocket. He's like, Frank, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's pretty weird.
No, it's like a little stun button. He like whips out, presses a button, and it like, and then suddenly he presses another switch, and it goes, and like the flag comes out. He's like, Frank, I'm not gonna lie, kind of weird, bro.
I'm not gonna tell you how to do your job. Just get out there and make America proud and slightly uncomfortable.
Go ahead and help them realize who they really are and their real kinks in life.
And what is that, King? Having an alien probe their ass? No. Having me for president.
Frank, I know you've been in the closet for a long time, but it's time to come out and help others come out of the closet too. Get probing, boy.
I love the idea even more. If Frank's like an alien who was infiltrating their government and never said he was an alien, but everyone just knew he was an alien and just was chill about it. They're like, all right, yeah, that's Frank. He's our alien. He carries an anal probe with him all the time.
I do anal probe with Frank all the time. He's just like, you're like, so where's Frank? Oh, you know, he's with Steve right now. Really? What are they doing? What do you think they're doing? Obviously, they're doing anal probe. Does Steve know? Of course he knows. We all do. And he's just like, yeah, I know. The guy's just like, yeah, I remember my time too.
They just keep this alien that's infiltrated their government just because they all like getting probed.
It's like, he hasn't probed me in 3 weeks. Like, he's all lonely.
He has this thing that he thinks erases their memories afterwards. But it doesn't. They just wake up and they're like, oh, alright, that was kind of cool.
Oh, you know, that was refreshing. Dude's like, he hasn't done it in 3 weeks. I feel like he doesn't even remember our first probing. Yo, Frank the alien is a playboy.
He really
he's a real harem king.
That moment when your harem is the U.S. government.
Can relate. Me and Frank on an emotional level over here.
Dude, being an alien who probes their harem of the entire U.S. government, mood. Relatable, man.
Real mood. Tuesday morning, you know, I'm feeling like Frank today. Gonna go out probe and hashtag get your butt ready. I'm
imagining that on Twitter on an otherwise normal day. You see one of your friends post that, you're like, what?
What? He appears behind you.
It's like, I just wanted to be frank with you.
I'm just gonna be frank with you. This isn't gonna end well.
Dude, there's like a personality quiz. It's like, how likely are you to become a U.S. government official? There's like these like prestigious students taking it. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, because it was written by like actual like government officials. They're like, yeah, we know our stuff. This will tell you how likely you are.
I know. Where
Question 1: How much do you want to get your ass probed by Frank the alien? You answered that.
I knew it.
That's the only question on the whole quiz.
I knew you were gonna say it, and I still am freaking out. Oh, I knew. Yeah, like the moment you said, "Oh, it was written by real government officials," and I'm like, "Oh, I know what the first question on that thing's gonna be."
They're like harvesting data from the quiz too. Everyone who answers like very Frank just shows up to their house, and as soon as he's like, hey,
so ready to become a government official?
This is the real corruption in government.
So when did you become a government official? Well, I just couldn't get away from Frank, you know. Something about him. It's just.
I just entered college. I was feeling really horny about aliens.
It's so plain. It's like, well, you see, I first entered college, right? And then I had an odd distinction to want just a massive probe in my asshole. The reporter was like, what?
Like I said, a probe in my asshole. You know what that is? Look, I'll show you.
It's so blatant. The reporter's just not ready for it. He's just like, it's like, here, take a look.
Pulls like a full-size American flag out.
He pulls an object out, presses a button, it comes out as a baton, flips a switch, the American flag comes out. You think Frank ever gets horrified sometimes about how adamant people are about getting probes in their asshole? You think, like, he's ready for it and he wants to, but at the same time, you ever think there's that one guy, like Steve, who just comes out and he's like got a whole bed spread out, a bunch of like dungeon shades and whatnot, and it's like dungeon basement, and is like, all right, I'm ready, and like has like a suit on that's just like fully clothed, everything, but then the ass is just hanging out. And he's like, give it.
Frank's like, actually, I was just here to like hand you back these papers. He's like, oh.
Actually, these are due on Monday. Can you get them to?
Where do we go from here?
Well, I was gonna say, nothing shows your love for an individual than telling them that you're not going to probe their ass and they have to get these government official paperwork in by Monday.
Dude, it's like that moment when you see someone twerking and you just hand them the divorce papers right away.
I'm the guardian of these divorce papers. You're gonna have to get past my sick twerking moves to get your name on these.
Lord.
What if there was like a trial by combat for any mundane thing that you had to do? Like you going out and getting Starbucks coffee, and and you're like, okay, can I get a mocha frap? And they're like, sure. And then like as they hand out the mocha frap, you go to reach and grab for it, but then like a bow staff hits your hand, and you're like, ah! And a monk's just standing there like, you wish to grab your frappuccino, do you? Let me see your resolve.
And you're just like, hey, dude, you guys just let him in here and let him beat up customers? And they're like, yeah, we hired him. That's Mo the Monk. He beats up customers. That's his thing.
It's part of the customer service experience.
And you're like, oh, dang, this is really high quality. You just get punched in the face with the side. Never let your guard down.
Wow, I feel like I'm really getting punched in the face. Whoa, my nose is bleeding. Well, this is gonna make the Frappuccino all more worth it if you can survive long enough to drink it.
You like go into a public restroom, right? And someone's like, one of the employees are in there with the cart, like going into a store. You're like, oh, you just cleaning things up? They're like, no. Someone slew the Hydra that was in here, so I gotta replace it real quick. They're like, oh, okay, thank you. They're like, yeah, sure, I'm almost done. They like walk out, you go in there. You're just like, close the door behind you, shot from behind you, just you're like,
No, go to the place after. Oh, thanks. He's like, oh, looks like you really have to go to the bathroom. He's like dancing in the corner, like trying to hold it. He's like, yeah. It's like, well, it's good to go. Have at it. And then he's like, thanks. Rushes in, closes the door. He looks up. He sees the heads of the Hydra, and he's all like, oh, I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore.
Everybody has a sleep paralysis demon. You have to fight him while paralyzed to wake up.
I'm sorry, the imagery in my head, it's the more I think about it, the funnier it gets. He's just like, you just see him in the morning, he's like, like it's like the sign, like it's a morning routine, you're like, yeah. And then like he's like coming in like a cloak, and then pulls off the cloak, and he's like got boxing gloves on, he's like a boxer, you're into the ring, and it's like,
you're just lying down on the ground, you can't move at all.
He's like punching in the air, and he's like, ready to go, and you're just like sitting in the corner, lying on the ground, and you're just like motionless.
Like perfectly straight, too, just like a stick. And then
I just imagine
the bell rings, and you just like, you're like animated like someone's using a mouse to drag around the line on their computer, just like flipping around and like
I was gonna say that it's like, you know when a game has a sort of issue with it.
Yeah, like the animations freeze, but your character's still moving.
Yeah, so like you have like them T-posing, or they're on the ground and they're sliding around. I just imagine that, like the bell rings and then your body goes, comes up like a stands upright, and then gets like a sword whack at him.
Just like stands completely up, then slaps back down over and over on top of him. It's like. You're like standing upside down in the first place.
You wake you beat the fight, and the bell rings, and you're like, the new champion, and you wake up in like a cold sweat, and then like you like unveil the covers, and you have the wrestler's belt with you, like the giant champion's belt.
Dude, the demon's like, that wasn't really a particularly fair fight. I mean, I had just had to, I had to wake up early to get here. And to wake up, I had to fight my sleep paralysis human.
Dude, Dude, like, there's two things about this that are so funny to me. First is the fact that there's an after the fight, the post-fight conference. Where it's like, yeah, I would have been in better shape if I just maybe trained a bit more, had a better meal before. And like you're nowhere to be found. You're awake and you're walking around. He's just in your mind.
He's just in your brain doing his thing.
And then second is the fact that he also has a sleep paralysis, but human. It would have been good, but sleep paralysis human. I swear to God, it was a way tougher fight with him. I was like in the boonies, and there's crocodiles. There's nothing like this ring. He got it off easy. What if you lose to your sleep paralysis?
Wait, I was gonna say though, what if your sleep paralysis demon loses, and then you're just in that ring, but you're just there by yourself, and you can't win because there's no opponents. So you just have to stay asleep.
Like you're just sitting there, and then like the announcer's just like, it seems like he was not able to wake up for the match. Your sleep paralysis demon is nowhere to be found. So and you're like, so what do I do now? Fuck all I know. Looks like you're here to stay, kiddo. What if your sleep paralysis demon wins? He takes over your body, and you're in your mind. You're like, I had a lot to do today, but I bet he's doing his thing again. What's his thing? Well, usually whenever he wins his fights, he likes to go out and eat a bunch of ice cream. I gotta work it off the next day, I swear.
Dude, but because he lost, you weren't allowed to become unparalyzed, so you're just like flopping around like a stick in the real world.
you're like a video game character, you're going across the
You're just like, no, you're perfectly straight upside down, like you hover into an ice cream shop, you're like, yes, I would like one ice cream.
I would like a double fudge, double scoop, please. On a waffle cone.
They're just like, Paphisto, is that you again? Did you take over?
Did you win that fight again? He's like,
no.
Yeah.
This is just me, Jack. The human.
No, he doesn't want. Like everyone knows, like Frank, like how they know Frank. Everyone knows it's Paphisto, and he's like, "No, it's ridiculous."
They're like, "How are you gonna pay for that without moving?" He just like tilts up, so he's hovering in the air, like facing towards them, like horizontally. And the wallet just like shoots out of his pocket and hits him in the face, and he goes back to how he was.
That should cover the bill. Make sure to take $2 out for a tip, please. He's like got a black eye and he's like, oh, thanks, Paphisto. I appreciate the tip. No problem. Except I'm not Mephisto. I don't know what that name is or who that might be. Sounds like a handsome fellow, though.
He just walks out. Well, not walks, but hovers out. Eating their ice cream. He's like, man, I love the human world. Everything's so much nicer here. Time to enjoy this ice cream. Sticks his tongue out, about to lick it. And Mo the monk just comes out of nowhere, slams him in the face. He's like, never let your guard down. There could always be enemies nearby.
I see you've learned the way of the hovering lotus. So am I. And then he turns upside down too.
Dude, there's finally a day when this dude like actually makes it through everything and wins all his fights. He shows up to work. His boss is like, well, Jack, the last time you came into work was 17 days ago. You're one of my most tenacious and persistent workers. Excellent job. You're getting a promotion.
I'd like to think that Mo the Bug also has to go through a sleep paralysis demon, but it's a very unfair matchup because the fighting doesn't scale with how how much you work out or get buff or train. It's just the same sleep paralysis. Even like one day, like one time he's kicking your ass, and the next time after you work out a bunch, you come in and he's like, "What the fuck happened to you?"
Would it even matter though? Because you're still just like a plank when you're fighting him.
You know, a buff plank gets harder. It's like the difference between using a branch on a tree and using a 2x4. Sorry, I'm still thinking about how he comes out, tries to eat the ice cream, then mow the bug. That's great.
Dude, I was thinking about the same. He's like, I have learned that technique too. Mo the Monk is the best character.
New D&D character concept. Mo the Monk that just is very into inconveniencing people.
Dude, Paladin Oath of the Minor Inconvenience. It's like, I'm sorry, did you want to brush your teeth? I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that without proving yourself in a trial of combat.
He's fighting him.
He's like this 6-year-old kid. He's like, my mom said I'm supposed to brush my teeth every day. He's like, you don't need to if you don't have any teeth anymore.
He's beating the shit out of the kid, and then he's like, "Oh, strong when you are. Looks like I'll have to use one of my special techniques," and then smites the shit out of the kid.
The kid's just like doing nothing, getting beaten into a pulp. And then finally, they're just lying there like dead on the ground. He's like,
Powerful opponent.
Well, I'll fight you again tomorrow. Turns around, the kid just like starts levitating. They're just like this bloody pulp. And they're like, my sleep paralysis demon is here now. They just start like bouncing around like a flesh ball off of the walls.
they rise up as a stick, a plank, and he's like, Miss Paphisto, we meet again. Like, yes. So you've attacked my sleep paralysis human. Well, joke's on you. I need ice cream. You will not stop me again.
I especially love the idea that Mo the Monk, who is already getting paid to fight customers, broke into this kid's house because he knew that he would be brushing his teeth, and broke in just to like straight up murder this child in cold blood. And he was just gonna leave.
I'm gonna die.
Mo the Monk is chaotic evil but thinks he's lawful good.
Oh shit.
You see, most other monasteries have a slightly different set of beliefs than us. Most monks preach peace and keeping to yourself. My monastery's primary virtue was beating the shit out of innocent children.
Innocent? Hell fucking no. You see those bastards trying to brush their teeth? Fuck them.
He's just standing there like, you know, cross-legged beneath a tree with like the meditation posts and all this stuff, and the kid who's listening to him like raises his hand. He's like, but aren't you supposed to brush your teeth to stay healthy? He just pulls a gun out of his pocket and shoots him right there on the side. He's like, shut up, you bastard!
You son of a bitch! What'd you say to me? Ah, yes, my secret technique. Way of the lotus blossom. Gun!
This guy can straight up like hover and speed up demons. But when a child's slightly annoying him, he just whips out a gun.
What'd you say to me, little brat?
If you want to have the right to speak, first you must defeat me in combat. He's talking to the kid. They're already, like, dead on the ground. They've been shot. He's like, what's that? You're too afraid to fight me? Don't think I'll leave you alone just because you're a corpse.
Gets his buddy, Frank the alien, to probe that. Probe the shit out of the dead kid, and then the kid rises up as a fucking undead creature.
Dude, there's only two political parties: Frank the alien and Bo the monk.
No, they're friends though. Frank the alien helps him out by being a necromancer that raises the dead children for low kills.
Using his probe.
Yeah.
So that he can kill them again.
Oh, thanks, Frank. You're a real pal, you know that?
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's mostly just that I really hate children.
Yeah, no problem. It's just the fact that I really hate children because they really get on the nerves of all the government officials I probe, and they always talk about it. And I hate it. I'm trying to probe them there, and then they're talking about all the children they hate.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why do you need children anyway? Like, what's the point?
What's the point? In this world, children don't grow up to become government officials. The government officials are just made in test tubes.
No. It still works exactly the same, but everyone's ignorant of the fact that that's what happens. They're just like, yeah, so do you remember what we were before government officials? No, not really.
Yeah, you were a college student, remember? And then Frank came along. Oh, right, but what about before that? What do you mean? Huh? I mean, like, before that. Like, what were we before college students?
Like, weren't we born or something?
You fucking dumb or
What?
something? You fucking got an aneurysm going on? I think you've taken too many probes from Frank.
I'm pretty sure giving birth is just like pulling the probe out of your ass. I give birth every day, dude.
I think that's a great line. I think giving birth is just like pulling the probe out of your ass.
He's like, but then why can like only women give birth? Hey, dude, what the fuck is a woman? They've been passing all these awful laws because they straight up don't know that women and children exist.
I'm sorry, first you're going on about life before college, and now you're going on about women? You fucking, what are you on, man?
What's all this stuff that you're just making up off the top of your head?
I mean, like, whatever probe Frank shoved up your ass to hit your brain, I want part of it. I want some of that, too.
Dude, imagine, like, Frank straight up is a woman, but they didn't know what that was, so they were just, like, really confused whenever he tried to use, like, a feminine name. They're like, that's not a name. You can't be called Margaret. What the hell is that? This sounds like a type of... You can't be called Margaret. Your name's Frank.
Frank the alien isn't an alien, it's just a woman who's been alienated. And she probes people's assholes.
She just showed up in the White House and started probing people's asses, and they were like, yeah, this is probably an alien. I think that's how it works.
She's just really into it. It's her kink. And you call an alien for it. Because they don't understand what women are. Shit. The lore of this place expands at a rapid pace.
Because of the connections. Mo the Monk ends up being the Secretary of Defense.
Eventually, he surpasses his limits of working at a Starbucks and ice cream shop to beat shit out of the customers, and then Frank just comes along and is like, "Hey, you want to become the Secretary of Defense?" It's like,
I guess so.
I don't have shit all to do, so I suppose. And it's like, good, and then shoves a
just like a probe-labeled promotion.
Probe-labeled Secretary of Defense.
Just keep that up there, and then you'll always be the Secretary of Defense.
And just keep that up there, and then you'll be the Secretary of Defense for the whole time. It's like, oh, okay.
Everyone's super confused because the United States government releases a statement that's just like, yeah, we've just declared war on all children. Everywhere. If you brush your teeth, you're dead to me.
New laws have been passed. The law of not brushing your teeth, and the law of not having children.
I was just having a deep memory come back for Mayfeet Gov.
Oh no!
Remember when we made like that fake party? The
what is it? It's the something
Conservatarian.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. And we were like, the Conservatarian Party doesn't just support. Oh, wait, am I remembering this right? Oh, it was they don't just support assisted suicide, they demand it. But I was thinking of, because we were talking about banning children, I was thinking of that with like abortions. They're like, yeah, we aren't just okay with abortions, we demand it. Even if you aren't pregnant, even if you're a dude, get an abortion right now.
You're required by law to have an abortion. You go into the abortion clinic, you're like, okay, I'm here to get my abortion. Then Mo the Monk comes in, you're like, oh yes, you must prove yourself.
Show me your womb.
You must prove yourself worthy first for each.
But I thought you were the one who made it illegal to not get an abortion. Yeah, it's illegal to not win against me right now. Prepare yourself.
I hope you've trained.
Dude, but the abortion itself is actually just Mo the Monk just repeatedly punching your womb. He's like, Fleur, my latest technique. Blossom art. Flurry of anti-baby blows.
The husband comes back to the other husband because women don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
So they all consider him husbands, and
we don't just support same-sex marriage. We demand it.
Well, the Conservatarian Party is both. What is the word? Understanding and fucking.
They're both like progressive and not at all willing to have anyone deviate from the norm.
Thank you. That's the progressive was the thing I was thinking of. Wow, they're really progressive, but at the same time, they're really fucking
insane.
I don't know whether I like them or I get my shit beat out for not liking them.
Lord.
But yeah, he comes back. He's like, so dear, how'd the abortion go? And he's like, well, I wasn't able to get the surgery, but Mo the Monk kind of beat the shit out of my womb. And I'm pretty sure that worked just as effectively.
It's like, oh yeah, that's what happened to me too. Like, lifts up shirt and there's just like a bunch of fist-shaped craters in the stomach. My friend from middle school that I think I've brought up once or twice before,
right,
sent me these games on Steam that apparently he got for free. But was like, oh, I rather like this better. It's called Frog Detective. I think I might have posted a screenshot of it, but they're interesting.
I think I want to finish the first story for you.
At the beginning of the game, your boss calls you and he's like, yeah, so there's like this case going, and it's really difficult. So they asked me to bring my best detective. And you're like, Lobster Cop was busy, I take it? I was like, yeah, Lobster Cop was busy. So I called you my second best detective.
Wow.
No offense. And then you're like, no, it's okay. Lobster Cop's skills far outweigh my own. It was fun trying to predict the alignments, though. And it's interesting seeing what you think of Hodge.
Mm-hmm.
I've been meaning to update it. I added, I don't remember if I told you this already, but I added, a character impression sections to my private notes. Yeah. Wrote, a big chonking paragraph about everyone there after the first session. Yeah. Dustin did say he, confirmed that there's a decent variety of alignments, which is cool. I feel like it makes sense. We definitely have a party of very different people. But not clashing so far.
No. I know what Suki's is, obviously.
Yeah.
I stand by my original statement after playing it for a bit.
Yeah.
Of what it shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel like for any character, you could make an argument for a couple of alignments.
Yeah.
But what the player thinks their alignment is says something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also interesting to see what other people think of your character's alignments early on, because it shows what alignment they're outwardly displaying.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's different than your actual alignment, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're playing them wrong, but that is the way they're acting outwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to guess for anyone because I don't know that much of their motivations. And that applies to Suki too. I think the reason I said lawful, partially because I feel like he's been wanting to play a lawful character, but also I think just her general
You can gather that
attitude.
from all the lawful evil people in Keep Great.
Yeah, I can gather. I don't think Suki's lawful evil, but you never know. But I feel like just her general attitude of wanting to be polite, kind of having this tradition she's upholding in a way. I could see it as lawful.
You can see your thought process there.
I did consider lawful neutral as well. I consider that for a couple of characters actually, which is weird because it's sort of a weird alignment. But I feel like this is partially based on what you've told me, out of character. But I feel like she has a greater driving motivation that probably tends more towards good. I didn't expect it when I was going through, but I felt like Brooke was the hardest for me to decide on.
For me, I mean, etches, obviously. It's hard to count etch as a easy one to define or describe because, well, it's etch.
Yeah.
So far.
Totally.
And so true neutral is it feels hard to find one for him, but true neutral is an easy one to say because
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I was leaning more chaotic than lawful, partially because that's always the case. People are more likely to choose chaotic than lawful, but partially because it's James.
Yeah. And then there's I think Edgar is probably the hardest next to Edge for me, because I just haven't talked to them as much as Brooke and Hodge.
Debatable.
Or they feel like they don't give off a sense of like chaotic or lawful as much as Brooke and Hodge to me. The sense that they are good is apparent for me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I can't get that like sense of which or this, so I think
They give me kind of the same vibes as Milo, just kind of like a good dude trying to do his best, and to me that feels like neutral good.
I think so too. Is that what I put?
It's definitely what I put. I don't remember what you put for him.
Neutral good, lawful neutral.
Yeah, lawful neutral is kind of the other one that fits that descriptor I put out there in a way.
Yeah, I see lawful neutral often as like you have your own sense of morals, and that's what you follow. If somebody else doesn't follow it or they do something else, that's their issue.
Right.
But
that's what my one-shot character was. I'm still interested to see how that comes up eventually.
I like how you did neutral grave romper, neutral Starbucks.
Yeah.
Fallen.
I think the interesting thing is, having thought about it a bit more, with like me trying to guess Brooks, it's this weird position where like I know at least the majority of his backstory, and I still have no idea what he wants, like what his next goal is. I mean, I guess you guys already know a lot of the same stuff that I do. I don't remember exactly what he's told, but he's definitely let slip a lot.
He's open, and Suki very much likes that.
Yeah. Everyone's been fairly open, which is interesting. There are a bunch of like very broody characters with very like probably tragic pasts, but they're all like, yeah, I'll talk about it. It doesn't matter to me that much. I'm not depressed.
I mean, like, to be fair, I'm not sure what happened in the other campaigns or anything. But Jet was never asked, so, what was your childhood like? Oh, where did you grow up? Where did this? Suki's all about that. She's going out of her way to literally ask about your life. I don't think
Brooke's been kind of doing that too.
So, I like to think that it's part of those two's efforts. And that this
You're probably right, yeah. Yeah. You guys have been doing fairly well at that.
Edgar did hold on to a bit of a...
Yeah.
But she can respect that. It's because she has, like...
That's the cool thing, is when you have people actually intentionally asking after it, it's more like viable and interesting to play a mysterious character, because you actually have opportunities to hold things back instead of you holding things back, destroying the only possibilities of actual roleplay.
I like that from Jordan. She wasn't around, but we're like, oh, my family loved me. I'm like, yeah, mine too. And then Jordan's like, oh.
I love how good Jordan's playing like the angsty teenager without making it cringy. I never knew that rich angsty teenager and grumpy, like, salty old woman was a combo that I wanted. But it works so well. Especially, like, the social imbalance. Like, the actual child is the one who can actually handle talking to people maturely.
So, when I was pulling into the lot and parking, you said, "Yeah, I saw you online." Like, so you assumed I was here parked, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm parked." I went to type that, but like midway typing through it auto-corrected as I sent it to, "Yeah, I'm Parker," and I'm like, I turned into Spider-Man?
What?
Is that... What relevancy does that have to the situation? How did you do this autocorrect?
Autocorrect's like, I know you're trying to reveal your identity. Just do it.
Yo, I see you're here. Are you here? Yeah, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So, of course, I'm in this friendly neighborhood.
What a power move. Just like the exact opposite of canon Spider-Man, who's like guarding his identity super closely. It's this guy who just tries to work it into every conversation, but his friends won't believe him.
Yeah, sure, man.
Hey man, did you like order the pizza? Yeah, let me go like swing over and get it, since you know I'm Spider-Man. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. He's like in the room. He just
whatever.
Like tears off his clothes. He's wearing the Spider-Man suit underneath.
Swings
like
out.
shoots a web outside. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Nice tricks. He like calls them halfway through. They're like, hey man, why are you so late? Oh, you know, I'm just fighting the Kingpin right now because, you know, I'm Spider-Man. You want a video call real quick? Like, he's captured me. I'm about to die. I just wanted you to know. And when you see Spider-Man die on the news, and I'm dead too, that's why. It's because I'm Spider-Man. Okay, yeah, sure you are. Just try and be back here within like 20 minutes if you can. We want to catch the game. They're like sitting on the couch watching something. Spider-Man and the Kingpin crash through their wall, like tumble through, roll across, go back out the other wall. Spider-Man's like, hey, by the way, it's me. Okay, yeah, sure.
It's me as he's fighting, as he's going through their living room.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. Hey, I'm back. I've been like in 20 minutes, like you said. Oh, gotta go again. Man, what's Spider-Man talking about? We better call Jeffrey again.